Tom felt his anger reaching a boiling point. Jake had put in zero effort, yet he was being handed the director's position. On what grounds? Still, he knew that at this pivotal point in the partnership, such a demand was trivial for the Horton Group. With so many executives looking on, a minor transfer like this would inevitably have to be approved by Lewis. How infuriating! What was wrong with this Frankie Allen? Even if the Davis family had harbored resentment toward music the Horton family back then, shouldn't that grudge be aimed at the first branch? Why was he constantly targeting music Lewis? Lewis's expression remained composed. He had always kept a cool head, and his sharp gaze remained fixed on Frankie Allen. Slowly he spoke. "If I refuse, will Mr. Allen still sign the deal?" His interrogative tone instantly silenced the entire room. Lewis appeared unfazed. There were plenty of Horton Group personnel in the conference room, all capable of applying pressure on Lewis. But there were just as many from the Allen family. Music, or if the cooperation fell through because of Frankie Allen's unreasonable demand, he would face pressure from his own company as well. At this point, it was merely a test of each side's patience. Whoever cracked first would lose. After a long pause, Lewis still seemed perfectly calm. Frankie Allen had no choice but to speak up. "Of course not, Mr. Horton. Perhaps you've misunderstood. Music, this is simply my personal suggestion." The cold aura around Lewis seemed to ease slightly. "Let's sign the contract first. Jake will oversee the future cooperation." Music. Once Jake delivered results, there would be a proper reason for his promotion to director. This was a verbal commitment Lewis gave music to Frankie Allen. Both were major corporate groups. Frankie Allen had backed down, and Lewis didn't wish to push too hard. Frankie nodded, signed both copies of the contract, and stamped them. With that, the cooperation officially took effect. Frankie stood and extended a hand to Lewis. "Mr. Horton, a pleasure working with you." Lewis regarded him coolly without a word, making it clear he was still displeased by the commotion Frankie had stirred up earlier. Seeing this, Frankie Allen waved his hand, dismissing the assistants in the conference room. Once only the two of them remained, he turned to Lewis, trying to explain. "Don't take it the wrong way. My actions weren't instigated by my aunt. I owe Isla Olsen a favor. I simply had to secure some benefits for Jake." Upon hearing this, Lewis rose to his feet. "No explanation needed. I have no interest in her." Frankie frowned. "My sister was humiliated in the hospital and nearly lost her life. Isla Olsen protected her and called me, saving my sister. I have to repay this debt." Lewis's eyes turned even colder than before. Without another word, he strode out the door. Tom followed him. "Boss, we just spoke with the Allen family's people. There's a celebratory banquet tomorrow night. I found out just music, now that Frankie Allen will be attending. I've also heard his parents have arrived in Oceanian and will be there as well." At this, Lewis narrowed his eyes. "I see." Frankie Allen's mother was that woman's younger sister, his own aunt. Tom continued, "There's one issue. Your date. Should we find someone from the secretarial pool, or should we ask Miss Olsen?" Lewis stated plainly, "She probably doesn't enjoy such events. Forget it." That meant he didn't need a date. Tom nodded in acknowledgement. Music, but he was taken aback shortly after. In the past, the boss would have scolded him for being too talkative the moment he heard the name Miss Olsen. Now, he was simply saying she wouldn't like the occasion. It seemed the boss's attitude toward Miss Olsen had indeed shifted. Kiera, however, felt no change. After all, when Lewis returned from work, he still wore a gloomy expression, as if someone owed him a fortune. Even when the puppy raised its head and wagged its tail to greet him, the man didn't spare it a single glance. Kiera pretended not to notice and continued with her work, wrapping up her drug research. These days, she had thoroughly digested the neurology data borrowed from the Horton Group. The obstacle she'd encountered in her research now had a solution. meaning she could soon begin creating the clinical drug for Alzheimer's disease. Old Mrs. Horton had been quite anxious ever since. Kira stopped going to work. She wanted the couple to grow closer and initially intended to speak with Louis after work about taking his wife out to a concert or dinner. But looking at his expression, she couldn't help but comment, "He must have had a rough day at work." She turned to Tom and asked, "Did he run into any trouble?" When Louis went to wash his hands in the bathroom, Tom couldn't help but say, "It's still that Frankie Allen. I don't know what's gotten into him. He's always working against the boss and trying to push young Mr. Horton forward." Kira raised her eyebrows. Had Tom forgotten that old Mrs. Horton was also Jake's great-grandmother? He was speaking this way in front of the old lady. But, to her surprise, old Mrs. Horton snorted. "Huh? Since when did the Allen family and Jake have a connection? How did they even get linked? Doesn't Jake realize the Allen family has reservations about his uncle? Wait, shouldn't the Allen family hate the first branch?" Her expression made it clear she was unreservedly siding with Louis. Tom replied, "Who knows what's going on? It's a shame the Allen family won't build a proper relationship with us, yet they're getting all cozy with the first branch." Old Mrs. Horton pursed her lips. "Didn't you go to the hospital today to see Allen's younger daughter? Wasn't there some reconciliation? Seeing her own nephew didn't Mrs. Allen show any emotion?" Tom sighed. "We didn't get to meet them. They said the patient wasn't doing well. Old Mrs. Horton was deeply dissatisfied. Even if her condition isn't good, shouldn't they still let us see her? When you think about it, they aren't close to us and haven't made any effort. Actually, some relatives are easy to get along with once the ice is broken." Okay, music. The old lady had been thinking it through. After all, it was her son who had failed Louis's mother back then, so it was natural for the Davis family to harbor hatred. She'd resented them before because Louis's mother had music a C-section at 7 months pregnant, putting Louis in critical condition several times, which the old lady felt was far too cruel. But now, the Horton family and her grandson weren't close. The old lady was no longer as strong-willed, and if the Davis family could extend some goodwill to fill the emotional gap in her grandson's heart, perhaps things could improve. So she'd actually been hoping that through this cooperation, Louis could grow closer to the Allen family. But who would have thought it would turn out like this? Old Mrs. Horton was consumed with worry. What's wrong with the Allen family? Seeing her muttering to herself, Kira suddenly suggested, "Grandma, why don't I introduce the two families to each other?" After all, she was Rebecca Allen's savior, and Hey Music felt that Mr. and Mrs. Allen were good people when she'd met them. Once the relationship thawed, they'd be able to get along gradually. Louis, who had just finished washing his hands, emerged from the bathroom and overheard this. His gaze turned cold, but he immediately followed up with a question. "Do you know the Allen family?" "Hey Music," Kira nodded. "Yes, I did them a small favor earlier." "A small favor?" Louis suddenly pieced it together. "So it was you who saved his sister?" Kira was taken aback. "How do you know?" "See that button on your screen? It holds the rest of your story. Tap it and download the Pocket FM app now. Completely free.